Well, it's that time. We're here to talk a little USL, USFL, a little CFL, CFL. But first, before we do that, you know, a badge of honor is when you get the uncle nickname. And when you come on a show and you give a plus 500 dog out, you get the uncle nickname. So I'm going to deem you Uncle Jim from now on.
At least for a week, at least for a little bit.
You know, you come on, it's like you just slap the balls on the table and just say, dude, plus 500.
I mean, I feel like I've been calling the Gamblers over the Stallions for the last 3 or 4 weeks because we talked about it when they had their last win. We were just like, well, no, when we were talking about it like mid-season, do we think the Stallions will ever lose? And I was like, I don't see them losing. The only game I could see them tripping up would be something like the Gamblers because they're going to overlook them. They're already locked in for the playoffs. They're looking ahead. They got nothing. They got everything in front of them, and then they slip up.
We got the name on the ticker, man. It's official. Uncle Jim.
Oh,
we got it on the ticker, dude. Uncle Jim.
Special. I feel honored.
Uncle Jim. Well, look, dude. This is what but I have to say this though. This is what I tell the women I date. Don't set the bar too high because you know what? If you set it too high, it's hard for me to pass. If you set it low, it's easier for me to pass. Now that bar is getting higher and higher because you've just been racks on racks and racks, man. Are you feeling the pressure this week?
I am. It's going to be another chaotic week. I'm feeling the pressure. I hope that the USFL regular season, I end on a really strong note. The CFL, it's everything's in front of me for the CFL, so I hope I don't overlook anything there.
You, my friend, what you're doing is I call seeing the board. You're seeing the board, and we're going to bring up the board right now. We're starting with the Philadelphia Stars against the New Jersey Generals. Now, you mentioned this when you and I talked on Spring Fever yesterday about the possibility of Costello starting the whole game and just getting them all the run. Do you kind of figure, like, with this game being at 2.5, that's priced into the line?
I feel like nobody knows how to cap any of these games this week. It's going to be a lot of Costello. That's probably priced into the line, but this Jersey team didn't look fantastic in Week 9. I think both these teams are just kind of maybe trying to feel each other out because they play each other again the next week for the playoffs. This game doesn't matter. That game does. They probably don't want to give anything away.
So that's why I am insanely leaning the under 41 because I feel this is just going to be handoff, keeping everything basic as hell.
I'm right there with you. I'm going to probably play the under in every single game. This one's tough. I feel like it's just going to be a bunch of running.
Yeah.
And just like pretty vanilla football, which I will say favors the Generals. So I actually like the -2.5 here too.
So your official plays are -2.5 for the Generals and under 41.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to join you on the under 41, but you said it. These two teams play next week. You just don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like you just don't know who's going to come out and who's going to want to win, keeping everything vanilla. So I don't know. I like the under here. I'm going to hold off. So, the next game, we're going to go to the Stallions against the disappointing Tampa Bay Bandits. The Bandits are getting 3.5 over under 40.5. Now, which team, the Bandits or the Panthers, win the award for most disappointing team of the year?
Probably the Bandits. Both these teams, they had the favorite odds to win the whole championship at the start. But I feel like the pressure put on Jordan Ta'amu as a player and what everyone thought he was going to be, and he was still really good. Don't get me wrong. He still looks pretty good. I still have a lot of faith in him. That team just really disappointed. The Panthers were just bad, like, from the get. The Bandits showed flashes, and like they could even beat the bad teams. They were like 2 games away from making the playoffs.
Yeah,
but the disappointment is right there. Like, if you're a Panthers fan, like 3 weeks in, you kind of know what you got. You know your team's bad, but you have a good defense. Bandits fans have nothing.
I mean, as soon as the Panthers drafted Shea Patterson, I sent you a message, season over. But with the Bandits, I kind of feel having an NFL coach in Haley, having the XFL, the guy that just tore up the XFL, I just kind of feel like this team, in my eyes, just disappointed because I believe they were the betting favorite. No, it was them or the Panthers.
The Panthers were the betting favorite, and then it was the Bandits. They were the second favorite team.
In this game, though, I mean, this is another game. Like, are the Bandits going to just pack it in because it's the last game of the season? What are the Stallions going to do? Are they going to want to go into the playoffs looking better because they did struggle last week? And it's at 3 in the hook. That is just a tough-ass line, my friend.
It's tough. I would probably take the Bandits. Man, this really is tough. I don't know. It's against a winning team. I think the Bandits cover here. I don't think they're really going to win, and I'm also going to be taking the under.
Now, okay, under 40.5. Now, this is my MC Hammerman spot of the week in the USFL.
Boy.
Give me Mauler Nation plus 2.5. And you know what? They're going to straight up win. I'm calling it right now. I am calling it right now. They're going to straight up shock the world, end on a win. Fisher, those guys left it all out on the field, blowing that game. Should have covered and hit that plus 275 for you and myself. Give me the Maulers plus 2.5.
I'm going to be taking the Panthers minus 2.5.
Oh.
Raining on your parade, I think the Panthers are the better team. I think they get it done. That defense is good. The Maulers, I don't know, man. I have zero faith they can do anything.
And also, I prematurely brought that up. I'm sorry. I'm getting into my parlay, dude. I was jumping the gun, dude. I'm so eager to show you my parlay. Next game, Houston Gamblers getting 3.5 against the Breakers, over under 40.5. It's tough for me not to take this Gamblers because, again, with the Breakers quarterback situation, everyone banged up. I just think they want to get into the next weekend healthy.
I think the Breakers still win, even with like a backup quarterback, just based solely on defense. That I also lean towards the under in this game because of that, and it makes me really like. I do like the plus 3.5.
Okay, all right. So just to review, Jim has the Generals minus the 2.5, the under 41 in the first game. I have the under 41. Next game, I'm just not even touching. Jim has the under 40.5, and then did you lean Bandits?
I lean Stallions. I lean Stallions.
I'm hoping for a 3. If I get a 3, I'm all in the Stallions. Here, Mauler Nation. Jim is going with Panther Nation. I'm getting 2.5. Jim is laying 3.5, and we're both on the under of 42, I believe.
Yes.
And here, are you taking the Gamblers to cover but to lose and the under?
I'm taking the Gamblers to cover but lose, and I am on the under in this game. I think the Breakers squeak by here. Although, depending on what you get for a money line, the Gamblers' money line is not a bad bet.
Okay. Now let's switch over to our friends up north, the Canadian Football League. I have 2 plays I have circled here. But you know what? I will give props where props is due. This is another reason why you are officially in the Uncle Club. Wait, this game right here is 2.5 right now, but Uncle Jim got this bad boy at plus 6.5.
Yeah, I got it early on. I got it Monday at 6.5. It's moved drastically. I feel like this moved since we talked about it yesterday. Wasn't this like 3?
This was 3. Now, 2 questions for you. Question 1, yesterday when we talked on Spring Fever, you hinted you may want to look for a middle here. Like at 2.5, is this something you want to invest in for this? I do
like the Blue Bombers minus 2.5. Although I did sprinkle a little bit on that Ottawa money line early on. I do like the Blue Bombers minus 2.5.
So I mean, you're sitting in a phenomenal position, but for those that didn't listen to now. You guys got to mark your calendar. Every Monday, Uncle Jim comes out with a CFL podcast, and it's strictly a betting podcast. So if you're betting the CFL and you want to get those early lines, you got to listen to that. Hypothetically, let's say I didn't listen to this. and I'm looking at a 2.5 right now. Do I just lay it with the Blue Bombers, or what should I do?
I like the laying with the Blue Bombers. I like the under in this game as well. I think it's going to be a little defensive. I think it's going to be like a 21-17 sort of battle. I like the under, and 2.5 is it's tough. It's really tough because I think the Red Blacks are going to play them really tough at home.
Okay.
Probably stay away, but if I'm leaning anything, I think Winnipeg's good enough for that defense to get the win. I like 2.5. Under 3, I'll take it. It's not high confidence, but I like it.
Now, I'm going to pass here. You know, I was insanely late to the party with this one, so I'm just going to completely pass.
Not a bad pass.
Next game, this is my MC Hammer of the week in the CFL. Give me the TC. Give me the Tiger Cats laying the 1 against the Stampeders. Who do you have here? Because I think we're on different sides here, my friend.
I have Calgary winning this one outright. And I like the under a lot in this game, under 45. Yeah. I like that one a lot.
I totally co-sign there at the under. Next game, stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop. The Saskatchewan Rough Riders laying 7.5 on the road against Elk Nation. Over under is 50. That is a juicy over under, my friend.
Yeah, I gotta take the under here just on
principle.
Like Saskatchewan could go ham. There is a scenario where the Rough Riders could just steamroll the Elks and win like 56-0 or 48-12 or some stupid score like that. But I just don't see it. And their defense is so good, I don't see the Elks scoring anywhere close to double digits. I love the 7.5. I think the Rough Riders win it by like 31-3.
I'm going to respectfully disagree, and I'm going to take the Elks plus the 7.5. But at our friends Bovada, you can get them at 8, so I'll probably take them at 8. Excuse me. And this is my parlay of the week. We almost hit big last week. I'm taking the Tiger Cats minus the 115. I'm taking the Elks plus the 265. Baller Nation plus the 130. And the Gamblers plus the 140 for a juicy parlay of plus 3,667. That is my filthy 4-teamer of the week. Now, you just do a thirsty threesome. What's your thirsty threesome this week, my friend?
I'm going to be a little bit chalkier for you. I'm going to take the Blue Bombers on the money line because with this low spread, I love them on the money line play.
Okay, hold on. Let me put it in for the people. We got the Blue Bombers at minus 145. Okay.
I'm going to take the Stallions minus 3.5.
Okay. All right. And who's going to be the third one in this threesome for you?
I'm going to take the under in the Michigan-Pittsburgh game.
Oh, look at this, dude.
Plus 516.
A juicy plus 516. Woo! All right, so just to review, in the CFL, Uncle Jim is taking the Rough Riders, laying the 7.5, shop around 7.5, 8. I'll take the 8 for the better line. I'm going to play the minus 115 here. Are you going to play the plus 1 or the minus 105?
I'm going to take the minus 105.
All right. Better odds. I get it. And here, you already have a great position. In this position, you take the money line, though.
In this one, I would probably take the money line. Minus 145 for a team who I think is going to step up and maybe get a dub. I don't hate it. I also like the under in that game a little bit. I saw it was a little higher earlier in the week. It was closer to 48, 49. But I like the money line. I like minus 2.5. I do like minus 2.5. Not as good as I like plus 6.5 earlier for the Ottawa, but I like minus 2.5 for Winnipeg.
And Jim's thirsty threesome is the Bombers minus 145, the Stallions minus 3.5, and under 42 in the Panthers Maulers game. My filthy foursome is The Gamblers plus 140. The Maulers plus 130. Elk Nation plus 265. And the Tiger Cats minus the 115. Uncle Jim, why don't you tell everybody what you have going on?
Well, first off, right now I am currently watching the Montreal Alouettes versus the Toronto Argonauts. Live bet the over in this game. It's 33.5 right now. I'm about to hammer that bet.
Can I get a little MC Hammerman in the bet? Oh, you know what? I don't want to be put in YouTube jail.
Yeah, don't be like me and get put in YouTube jail. Don't do that.
I don't want to be put in YouTube jail, so I'm not going to be breaking out the MC Hammerman. So, and you know what, people, if you're watching this live, Uncle Jim did tell you last week to play the Rough Riders, I believe, when we were recording, correct?
No, last week, like the last week's game, I was on Hamilton against the Rough Riders.
What was the Thursday game? Because the Thursday game, it was Montreal against
Calgary.
Calgary.
It was Calgary versus Montreal.
Yup, you gave out Calgary live.
I gave them out live because they were down at the time. So I'm on the over in this one. It juiced down. Pregame it was 48. Coming in, there's like 5 minutes left in the second quarter. It's all the way down to 33. So give it to me because they're at 12, and a second half of CFL can get like 30 points by itself.
You know what? Guess what I am doing right now, my friend?
Are you hammering it?
I am putting, dude. I found a 32.5.
I like that even more.
All right, here we go. Boom. Over.
I'll hit. You know what? I see it at 32.5 as well. I'm gonna hammer it again.
You know what, dude? It is hammered, dude.
Consider it hammered.
Consider it hammered. So, Jim, Monday you have the CFL Betting Podcast.
Monday, CFL Gambling. So Sunday, Gymnasium. Monday, CFL Gambling Podcast. Tuesday, I do a podcast called Sports Hole, where we just talk about literally the most random bullshit with two of my favorite people from Los Angeles. Wednesday, I don't think I actually have a podcast that comes out. Oh, wait. Our college football the college football tailgate with my boy Eric. That's on Wednesdays. Thursdays, Spring Fever with Eric. And then tonight I do this. And then tomorrow I'm cooking. I'm making poutine tomorrow.
Dude, I'm looking forward to that. My friend Jim, you're slowly morphing into one of my good friends. I appreciate all the time and effort you have coming on this podcast. Let's cash some tickets. Let's make some money. Until next week, my friend.
You betcha, buddy. I'll see you next week.